Okay, I just have to say first, this is hard for me, so just bear with me. Um, Hi, my name is Charisma, and if you had told me a year ago that I'd be standing here today as a mother, I probably would have laughed, honestly. This moment is a little nerve-wracking for me, but honestly, this whole year has been full of firsts, so let me tell you my story. I've always found a way to make things work in life, but when I found out I was pregnant, I felt overwhelmed in a way I had never experienced before. There were so many things to consider: emotional, practical, financial, and life changing decisions all coming at me at once. But if I'm being honest, the very first thing that hit me was how much I wish I had my mom. That feeling of loss and longing made me feel incredibly alone. Then reality set in, and I needed insurance. How was I going to afford this without it? I had been working as a server for years, and while I could take care of myself, adding a baby into the mix brought so many new challenges. I tried applying through MNsure, but nothing seemed to work. The system was confusing, and I had no idea how to navigate it, and it was beyond frustrating. And by the time I called Tandem, I was at my breaking point. But after the one phone call, I felt hopeful again. And they were so confident that my situation could be worked out, and the way they spoke to me made me feel safe, like I was in good hands. Jen scheduled my appointment with Cynthia, who walked me through the process step by step. And then finally, I got it. I got insurance. One big stress off my shoulders. After that, choosing Tandem for my prenatal care was a no-brainer. Jill set me up with appointments, and suddenly I was stepping into my new reality. But what made Tandem different was the way they embraced me. Every time I walked in, it felt like they were genuinely rooting for me. They greeted me with warmth, offered me hot cocoa, and made me laugh. It was a place where I felt encouraged, where my concerns were heard, and where I knew I wasn't alone. And from that moment on, I became part of the Tandem family. Soon after, I started life coaching with Jennifer, and I had so much to process, and I wanted every opportunity to grow and prepare for this little life I was bringing into the world. I was and still am committed to being the best mom I can be for my son. And those life coaching sessions gave me a space to reflect, learn, and gather the tools I needed to step into motherhood with confidence. They reminded me that I was capable. Every time I walked into the center, I felt seen, and that kind of support is powerful. And sometimes I leave with baby essentials, other times with a hug or words of affirmation, which was actually every time. But every single time, I left knowing my baby and I were going to be okay, and that God was making sure of it. And one moment that really stands out to me, one that still brings me to tears, is when I shared that I had been sleeping on an air mattress for most of my pregnancy. And a couple weeks later, a generous Tandem donor reached out wanting to help someone specifically. And just like that, Sarah and Jennifer showed up at my place, mattress and bed frame in hand, with sheets, pillows, and everything else. Not only did they bring it to me, they put it together for my 8-month pregnant self, which was close to 9 at that point. And John, my midwife, he's the best. He even came to see me after I had my son. And it's those extra things, the ones that show how deeply they care, that make Tandem so different. Because of this place, I'm not the same woman I was a year ago. I've grown, I've learned, and most importantly, I've never had to do this alone. And as I step into this next year with my beautiful son, Amari, I know I have a team of people and resources behind me, and that changes everything. Thank you.